Hello everyone, my name is Lakshay. Me and my team is here presenting a short video on planning. So as we all know about planning, planning is the process of thinking about the activities to achieve the desired goal in future. It is the first primary function of management. It involves the conceptual and maintenance of plans such as psychological aspects that involves the conceptual skills. We know that every company wants to achieve its goal in minimum time by putting minimum efforts. This is based on planning, that is, how they think, how they plan, how they put their plan into action. Planning may be different from organization to organization, that is, this is based on how they plan, what type of they plan. So there are some general steps that should be taken to ensure good result. These steps are: first is recognition need of action, setting objectives, planning premises, identifying alternatives, examination alternative of action, selecting alternatives, supporting formulary plan, and the last one is implementation of the plan. We will discuss this one by one.
The first and the most important part of a planning process is to be aware about the opportunities. Let's take an example of an organization. For an organization, it is important to know about the opportunities they have within their firm or outside their environment. Once they come to know about those opportunities, the manager will work with their team and in order to fulfill their goals, either by the realistic way or by the SWOT analysis. The SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. It is a simple idea.
My friend has very well explained about what is planning, and I am here to tell about the second step of planning. Setting objectives is the second and the most important step of planning process. Here we set objectives for the organization as well as for the individual departments. These objectives provide a general direction to the organization in a more planned and detailed way. Setting objectives involves a continuous process of research and decision making. Setting right objectives is very important for effective performance management. Objectives which aim at higher profits, market values, customer satisfaction are more admirable. Objectives are basically set up to achieve the end results the company wants to achieve in future. But anything which are pros always has some cons. Objectives may be short term or long term. Wait, let's take an example. Suppose we talk about long term objectives. But in future, due to changing technology, our objectives might fail and it may lead to company's failure. But in case of short-term objectives, these objectives are made for a shorter period of time and given to the organization at regular intervals. These objectives are made keeping in mind the changing technology and era. So it reduces the risk of failure. So we can say that short-term objectives are much better than long-term objectives. But if one wishes to make long-term plans, he or she should keep a backup plan so that in case of failure, it can be used. These objectives flow from higher hierarchy to the lower hierarchy. It pushes and guides the employees in correct direction. Now my friend will tell you about the third step of planning. Thank you.
Development of premises is the third step of planning process. Planning, which is always done keeping the future in mind. Future which is always uncertain. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. Take an example of Tata Nano. It was originally launched with the name so that each and every individual in India should have a car of his own. But guess what happened? People changed their mind and begin to visualize cars as their status symbol. Now, certain assumptions have to be made, whether it is a big or small company. These assumptions are what we call premises. Premises are generally of two types, external and internal. External premises deal with the situations like government policies, the organizational structure, the environmental policies, and the political environment prevailing in the market. Whereas internal situations like policies within the organization, availability of resources, etc., are under the category of internal assumptions. Once these assumptions are made, each and every member of the organization should not only be made aware of them but also should agree with them. Only then the development of premises could prove to be helpful. Now my friend will explain the fourth step of planning process.
I am talking about the fourth step of planning is identifying alternatives. First, I am trying to explain what is alternatives. Alternatives are the options available to the manager to identify the various options. There is no one way to achieve this objective. There is a multitude of choices. Now, let us try to understand through an example. If an organization has set its objective to grow further, it can be achieved through several ways, like expanding in same field of line or another field of line, joining hands with other organizations or taking over them, and so on. Within each category, there may be several choices. Finally, we go towards conclusion. The concept of various alternatives can be achieved through various actions, and in this step, managers try to identify the best way to achieve their objective.
The next step of the planning process is the complete and thorough examination of all the alternative course of actions, and I'm here to talk about this step. In this step, all the alternative course of actions are gone through a thorough and careful examination so that all the pros and the cons will be weighed. However, it should be kept in mind that these alternative options must be within the lights of the organizational objectives. However, sometimes one course of action or one plan doesn't work and the organization or the company likes to do nothing, and that could be a dangerous alternative. And sometimes if it is a financial plan, in that case there is complete risk return evaluation of the plan. There is complete calculation and there is complete analysis so that company's objective must be achieved in a very efficient way. For example, say someone wants to buy a car to go to his work. Instead of buying a car, what other alternative does he have? He can use public transportation, he can go through metro, subways, or he can he can rent a car, he can own a car on shared basis, and many other options he has. Now over to the next speaker.
We reach the decision making stage of planning process, that is selection of the alternative. Now the best and most feasible plan will be the one that is chosen to be implemented. The ideal plan is the one which is the most profitable and the one with least risk so that it can be easily modified according to different dynamic situations. Experience, experiments and research are the tools, or we can say the approaches for choosing the best alternative during decision making stage. Now, it isn't necessary to select a plan without any modifications to it. Planning is a bridge between where we are and where we want to go. From CEO of a multinational company to a ground level manager, selecting of a right plan and the strategies is a very important role, as all the next steps in the process depend upon the planning first. So, selecting the ideal plan is the most significant step of planning.
Formulating supporting plan. Supporting plan is a process which helps people set their own aims and then secures the support and care that are needed to achieve them. It is the key that unlocks person-centered coordinated care. It is about working with the support and care partner to think about what is important to you, the things you can do to live well and stay well, what care and support you might need from others. Care and support planning is for anyone who has health and care issues over time. These secondary plans help in the implementation of the main plan. For example, the plans to hire people, train personnel, expand the office, etc. are the supporting plans for the main plan of launching a new product. So these secondary plans are in fact a part of the main plan.
Here comes the last and the eighth step of planning, that is implementation of plans. In this step, we turn our strategic plans into actions in order to achieve our objective and goal. Implementation of plans is even more important than making a planned strategy. Sadly, most of the companies fail to implement their plans even they have a strategic plan. According to the Fortune magazine, 9 out of 10 companies fail to implement their plans due to many reasons. For example, in the game of cricket, the authority of implementing the plans rests with the captain on the field. All the decisions made in the dressing room are of no use if they are not implemented. Although the topic of implementation of plans is not so exciting to talk about, but for successful business management, it is very important to create plans and to implement them. In the end, I would like to say that if one wants to succeed in his business, he should follow all these 8 steps in order, and no one can stop him or her from reaching greater heights. Now, I, along with my team, would like to thank each and every one of you for watching this video with great interest and patience. Moreover, in this pandemic situation of COVID-19, we request each and every one of you to stay at home, stay safe and wash your hands regularly. We wish you a very good health. Thank you.